The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment.
Congratulations, Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35216. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper area, you'll find 3 receivers with electrical access 12 volt. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find dual air horns on the passenger and driver side. Just inside of that location, you'll find your PA speaker and siren. And directly in the center, you'll find your mechanical siren. As we move up onto the top of the bumper extension, you'll find 2 closed tow hooks protruding through the front extension. Let's move up onto the cab, where you'll find on the outer edges a marker turn indicator light. Just inside that location, the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam will be located on the inside. Just above that, roto emergency light forward facing, and directly above that you'll find grab handles for getting access to the windshield area. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find the mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Let's move up to the brow of the apparatus, and slightly above onto the roof is where you'll find your running lights and also a forward-facing brow light. All the way up onto the top of the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located inside the light bar in the center, you'll find your Opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the images that we just talked about. First, starting with the front bumper extension. You'll also notice a warning placard on the front anchors. Let's go ahead and take a look at the entire vehicle. This is going to be the driver's side. Let's focus in now on the cab area, starting first at the wheel area. Goodyear tires, blacked out rims, and also a sight gauge located in the center axle. As we move to the extension on the bumper, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving up onto the doors, you'll find your grab handle and door handle. The door handle is easily accessible with a gloved hand and is also keyed. Right next to it, you'll find the grab handle at all points of entry for gaining access in and out of the cab. You'll also find I'll have an exploded version of this in just a moment. This is your shoreline power. And then just to the right of that location, a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move up onto the top of the notch area, you'll find a side-facing emergency scene light. Let's go ahead and take a look at the wheel here, housing Goodyear tires and also the sight gauge located in the center of the axle. As we move back up to the top here, you'll find your shoreline power. There is an air eject right next to it and also an auto eject for your shoreline power. As we move to the side of the body area, just in front of the axle, you'll find folding wheel chocks. As we move up from that location over the axle area, you'll find side-facing emergency warning lights. And then as we move all the way to the very top, you'll find emergency warning lights in the upper portion. And right next to those, you'll find side-facing floodlights. Let's continue around to the passenger side of the vehicle. Here's a full view of the passenger side. Let's go ahead and focus in on the cab area. Same configuration and layout as the driver's side. As we move to the side of the vehicle, you'll find your exhaust. Moving now to all of the compartments in the open position. Once again, driver's side. Let's move around now to the rear of the apparatus. Compartments and ladder deployed. Let's move around to the passenger side. All compartment doors open. Let's move from this location around to the driver's area. First, let's go inside the cab, but before we do that, let's take a look at the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information placards, door lock and latch, and also electric window controls and a grab handle. As we look to about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard. This is manufactured for your department from Pierce, indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, also the vehicle's VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and fluid capacity type. Let's move up to the general area of the driver's area. First, let's start at the floorboard with 2 foot pedals. There is an electronic siren and also a mechanical siren. brake, treadle, and accelerator. As we move up to about the left knee of the operator, you find the master battery switch. It's the silver quarter turn. You'll also find tech module, engine, transmission, and diagnostic ports, and then also your display port. You'll also find the ABS diagnostics, DPF regen switch, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit switch. Moving up, you'll find the diff lock, air compressor PTO, load manager, and air dump for the rear. You also have 4 future switch locations if they are necessary. Moving to the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your interaxle differential lock, indicator, and switch. Moving up to the dash, you'll find the start and ignition switch on the far left, a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights. Headlight switch and panel switch. To the right, you'll find the high idle indicator and also switch. As we move to the gauges, you'll find the transmission, oil, def level, and water temperature. On the right side, you'll find volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. In the center of the 2 large gauges, tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's move just to the right in the same vicinity of the dash. First, let's start with your Pierce command zone. It's the digital display. As we move just down from that location, you'll find your windshield wiper, push for fluid, rotate for low, medium, and high speed. You'll also find a set of rocker switches. We'll go over those in just a moment. Your pull to apply your system parking brake, it's the yellow diamond, and push to release. Just to the right, you'll find the Allison transmission pad. It is a push button digital readout. And then just beneath that, you'll find your mirror controls for the flat and convex mirror for both right and left side. Let's go ahead and move back to the command zone 7-inch diagonal screen. It also is accessible with a gloved hand, or you can utilize your finger for touchscreen. As we move down from this location to the rocker switch, you'll find engine brake on and off switch, setting switch for low, medium, and high for that engine brake, a front wheel lock, off-road traction, and mirror heat. When any of these switches have been pressed, you'll see the indicator illuminate within the switch. Let's move from this location just down where you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror controls. As we move back over to the right-hand side, you'll find caution, disengage the retarder when on wet or slippery surfaces, and always utilize the parking brake while the engine is running. As we move upward from this location, climate control, heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Just down from that location, you'll find your PA speaker and also siren control. And then just to the right of that location, you'll find your unit radio. Let's go ahead and take a look overhead of the operator seat. Let's focus in now on the left-hand side with this yellow placard. This is the height of your vehicle, 10 feet 11.5 inches, length 39 feet 9 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 70,800 pounds. Just to the right, you'll find the radio push-to-talk button. If you make any changes within your vehicle, please update this yellow placard. As we move further to the right, you're going to find Emergency Master, Momentary Opticom, Backup Alarm Disable, Siren Brake, which is for your mechanical siren, a selector for city horn or air horn, and then also 3 future switch locations if you choose those necessary. To the right, in this additional scene bank here, this is driver scene, front scene, officer scene, rear scene, perimeter lighting, and wheel scene. 2 additional locations here also. When any of these switches have been depressed, the indicator around the edge of the switch will illuminate. Moving further to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor. Further to the right, clock. And then moving to the very center, you'll find this: if flashing, do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment door open or ajar. Also, general view here of the right side of the dash of the driver. Let's look behind the driver's seat. Attached to the EMS compartment is where you're going to find your wireless system. You'll also find a variety of different things here, from your headset system, unit radio, main module, also your auto charge. When plugged into shore power, this will become active. As we move to the very far right, we do have an additional switch to kill batteries, for example, for a long extended period with not use. And then just underneath that location, you do have additional 12-volt blocks, negative and positive. Let's move to the rear cab now. First, affixed to the door panel, we're going to find all of our safety and warning information placards. Also, you'll find the door lock and latch, and also electric window controls and a grab handle. As we move inside the area, you'll find just a general view here at the upper portion. You'll find push on and off white and red lens lights. You'll also find additional storage. This is directly behind the driver's seat and then also one behind the passenger seat. As we look to the compartments here, this happens to be the EMS compartment. There is a compartment light, adjustable shelving. As we move toward the rear of the apparatus, you'll find a lift and turn latch will gain you access to the rear portion of the engine to your daily checks for oil and transmission. Let's go ahead and take a look to the rear section. There are two seats nestled close together inside on a pedestal. Underneath that pedestal, you'll find additional storage. Overhead, you'll find your headset system. Let's move now to the driver's side rear section of the cab, where you'll find a quick release SCBA mount and also a box light. As we move to the rear section of the cab wall, you'll find a D handle gains access into this compartment space, dry deck material, and LED lighting. We're now into the body of the vehicle. We'll start at the very top section. We do have some netting here and also two full width trays, upper and lower release mechanism on the lower right hand side. In the upper portion, you'll also find a outlet plug located here. This happens to be shoreline and inverted outlet, which is 20 amp. Let's go ahead and take a look with them in the outright position. This is fully extended. Let's move to the next compartment toward the rear, where you'll find three trays located here. The uppermost tray does pull out and tilt downward. You'll also find shoreline inverted outlet. This is a 20 amp outlet, now displaying the tray in the outward and downward position. The two trays underneath are going to be full width. And we'll go ahead and move from this location to the axle area, directly over the axles, two additional compartments. In the forward compartment, you're going to find 12 volt access and then also a shoreline inverted power outlet. As we move down to the lower portion, you'll find your air tool module control area. Down from that location, you'll find the blue cap, which is going to be your DEF cap, 4.5 US gallon tank. Also SCBA bottle and emergency warning light. In between the two axles, a combination of air and also your winch receiver location. Just underneath the receiver, you will find 12 volt access. This is the 12 volt DC point that I pointed out earlier in the first compartment. As we move to the right side, you'll find the shoreline inverter outlet, 20 amp. Then as we move down to the forward compartment, this is your air tool operating module. It also has an instruction placard in the uppermost portion of that compartment. Once again, 4.5 US gallon DEF tank, SCBA with retaining straps, also located just above this area. As we move to that center section, you're going to find your air outlet and then also your receiver with electrical 12 volt access. Let's go ahead and move to the next compartment back. Adjustable shelving, dry deck material. In the upper compartment, you're also going to find shoreline outlet and also inverter power. As we move to the rear of the axle, you'll find the silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Moving to the very rear compartment, adjustable shelving, also two pull-out trays in the lower section. In this compartment also houses a shoreline inverter outlet, 20 amp. Release mechanism for these are going to be located on the far right-hand side of the pull-out tray. We're now to the rear compartment of your apparatus. Let's start identifying a few items within this area. First, we'll start with your air dump and also rear scene lights. As we move upward from this location, you'll find ladder storage and also long-handled tool storage, and then also backboard storage. As you move to the very rear lower section, you'll find a D-handle gains you access into this pull-out tray. At the very bottom section, Space Saver gains access into this space. Just to the right, we do have a warning here regarding fall hazard. If you're going to climb onto the vehicle, make sure you're facing the vehicle while climbing. This is the tray in the fully extended position. You can see the outermost portion does drop down. You'll also find some warning regarding fall hazard. Never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. And once again, if you're climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle while climbing. Let's move from this location around to the rear bottom area of the truck. This is going to be 4 receiver hitch locations here, 12 volt access at each point of those. As we move around to the passenger side, you'll find adjustable shelves and also pull-out trays. Release mechanisms are located on the right. And in each of these compartments going forward, you're also going to find Shoreline inverted outlet 20 amp plugs. This is showing them in the outright extended. You'll find dry deck material and also ventilation and LED lighting in each of those compartments. Same configuration for the most part, but you do have additional SCBA bottle storage on this side. Two SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps located passenger side. As we move forward to this location, this is in between the two axles, same configuration as you have on the driver's side. Upper compartment, we're going to find 12 volt access in the upper left hand compartment. Just to the right, you'll find that Shoreline inverted power outlet. Let's go ahead and move forward now, where you'll find the pull-out tray and also a tilt-down tray in the upper portion. As we move to the front axle area, you'll find SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps for 2 SCBA bottles. Moving now to the exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Please be careful where you park your vehicle. As we move upward from this location into the next compartment, you'll find this is the through compartment to the rear, adjustable shelving, and also dry deck material. Once again, Shoreline inverted outlets in each of these compartment spaces. This is now showing the same configuration as the driver's side, the pull-out tilt-down tray in the upper portion, and then the 2 full-width trays in the lower portion. As we move to the forward compartment, same through compartment, we have 2 full-width trays in the upper portion, and then also dry deck material in the bottom section. This is your inverter located in the upper portion of the compartment. Also, once again, on the vertical side sheet, you're going to find Shoreline power and inverter power outlets. This is your control module for your inverter. And then we also have a placard here regarding that continuous power supply. On the vertical wall, you'll find your cab lift. There are instructions to raise and to lower, also some caution and danger information. We do have a protected switch for that. General view here of the trays in the outright position. You'll find at the rear section on this side of the cab, you'll find a long compartment with also a light box. As we move inside to the cab rear, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information, door lock and latch, electric window controls, and a grab handle. Just inside this location, you'll find an EMS compartment. In the forward section, forward-facing seats nestled close together in the center, push on and off red and white lens lights. On the outer edge, you'll find 12 volt access via USB style. As we move forward, front axle, Goodyear tires, and sight gauge located in the center, and blacked out wheels. As we move to the officer's area, let's start first with the door panel. All of our safety and warning information placard affixed to the door panel. Door lock and latch combination, and also grab handle and electric window controls. At the floorboard, you'll find a mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move to the dash, your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system and airbag. Do not mount anything within this area. It's also the control module area behind that panel. As we move to the very far right on the A pillar, you'll find your fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Let's move upward onto the dash area. On the left-hand side, you'll find 12 volt access. This is 2 USB style. And then as we move to the very center, over the officer head, push on and off white or red lens. Also, we've got some switching details here. First, driver scene, front scene, officer side scene, rear scene, perimeter lights, and a siren brake, which is the red switch on the right, 2 future switch. Just as a reminder, these switches on the outer edge of that bezel does illuminate when the switch has been activated. Just to the right, you'll find your AM/FM weather band Sirius XM radio. And then further to the right, you'll find this yellow placard again. Same as on the driver's side. If you make any changes, please make sure you update both placards. In the center, you'll find the lanyard for your air horn, also push on and off white or red lenses. As we move directly behind the officer seat, you'll find Shoreline inverted outlets and also 12 volt outlets just underneath that. They are labeled how they are switched. Let's move to the exterior of the vehicle. This is going to be the rear section. You do have an anchor point. There is a warning label there regarding direct pull on the anchor point, emergency warning light also, and also a rear scene light. grab handle, and also LED lighting up portion. As we move from this location, let's move to the dunnage area. First, you'll find in this area a toolbox, top lights, and also dry deck material. As we move to the cab of the apparatus, you'll find these two placards located on the outer edge of the cab. This is a non-walking surface and is extremely slippery. That's why we have this warning placard located here. Let's go ahead and move back to the rear section of the apparatus. You'll find additional hatch compartments on both the passenger and driver side for long-handled tools, and then also additional equipment on the passenger and driver side. Walkway in the very center area, dry deck material in the very bottom section, and then also LED lighting. I'd like to reach out and say thank you to your apparatus committee located here in the image. Also, just a quick video here of your truck with your emergency lights operational. And once again, a thank you, Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.